Hey, guess who's back? The old Walker's herself. How y'all doing? I still love ya. Yeah, I do. I gotta continue my story about the ghost. It might be a long one and there might be another continuation. I don't know where this is headed. I really don't. These ghosts are driving me mad. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to call them ghosts. That's offensive. They want to be called spirits. I don't know why, but they've gotten into the politically correct thing like everybody else in the world, and you gotta call them spirits. I think I talked about that before, because I remember mentioning my spirits. Okay, well, back to the story. If you recall, there were ghosts everywhere. I could not move without running into one, and they had this room so cold you could see your breath. You can't see it now because a good part of them left. As you recall, I threw out all the naked ones, except for Long John, which I called Donkey in the last video, but I've changed it to Long John. And as luck would have it, Long John moved in. He's still here. And I don't think I need to explain why, especially to the adults. If there's any kids watching, he's just a nice man. And I like him. And that's all you need to know about Long John, kids. Because my videos aren't necessarily made for children. Because I don't know what's coming out of this old toothless mouth. It just... and stuff comes out. It comes in here, it comes out there. And there's nothing between here and there. So I apologize ahead of time if anybody's offended. I don't mean to offend anybody, especially my spirit friends, especially John. I'll tell you, that's John. He's a real wanker. He is a wanker! And I've been so happy since he moved in. And again, I don't need to explain why to the adults. And to the children, it's just nice having company, okay? And I do think I'm falling for him, but he comes and goes. And I like that, because I'm used to my privacy. And privacy means a lot when you're my age and you're stuck in your ways. John is kind of stuck in his ways, too. I'm not sure of his age. I haven't asked him, but I think he died when he was rather old. Because I'll tell you, he squeaks. His bones squeak. Now, I had a friend, and I was telling her about my key not fitting in the door right. I had to push it in, and it was hard to turn, and I thought, well, I've been using this same key and this same lock for probably 15 years, so I greased it up with Vicks. I got that key, and I put it in the lock, and I worked it in and out, and that Vicks in there was greasing it, and I was turning it. I got it so the key slips right in, turns, and the door opens. Well, she said to me, you know, Wonky, all you needed to do was get some WD-40. Well, I know about WD-40, but I can never find it. I keep it under this sink, but that's such a mess under there. I had mice get in there, and I don't want to get into my mice because that's a whole nother video and a whole nother story for a whole other day. But anyway, I didn't have WD-40. Well, I was out shopping, And I seen it on the shelf, and I thought, aha, I'm getting me some WD-40, and I'm not going to have to turn the TV in the bedroom up on high volume so the neighbors don't hear me and John back there. So the next time we headed to the back, I got my WD-40 from under the sink, and I found it because I keep that stuff right in the front now where I can get it. Well, I gotta be honest, it's not there now. It's back on the dresser in the bedroom. Oh, Wonky's telling on herself. But John, I can't get that out of my mind. It's just such a mental picture, and he's just so wonderful. But I got him to stop drinking. I sprayed his joints, every single one, from the top of his head to his big toe and little toe, every joint. I sprayed with WD-40, and old John, he doesn't make a sound anymore in the bedroom. Well, except for his, oh, and if you ever heard a spirit doing the naughty, and you gotta treat it for you, because they make sounds that would scare most people. But it just makes me laugh because I know I'm pleasing the spirit. Oh well. Back to the other ghost. I know I talk too much about John, but he stole my heart that first time. And maybe it's just lust, but that works for this old woman. And if lust it is, lust it shall be. And we get along great, but I have to explain a lot to him. Anyway, that's another story too, but he loves TV. I cannot get him away from in front of the TV, except when the commercials come on. But some of the commercials he's into, he's like, what the F is that? And I gotta start explaining technology, how everything is evolved. He was born, I think, in the 1700s. He doesn't remember for sure, and I don't know where his gravesite is. It's got to be around here somewhere, because I don't think the man's ever traveled very far in his life, because he's used to traveling on a damn old donkey or a horse. And they didn't go far back in the 1700s, let me tell you. But anyway, all these other ghosts were still here. And I kicked them all out that didn't have clothes on, except for John. And I said, you can come back, but you gotta be decent. So they all poof, they scattered. And it's like, poof, they're back. And I'm like, well, that was quick. And they said, well, we just went to Walmart, got clothes off the rack, and here we are. I said, you can't go to Walmart that fast. And they said, well, we didn't have to wait in line to check out, that's for sure. Things just disappeared out of the store and we flew back. Okay, I did hear about things disappearing in Walmart, and they had the police in because they couldn't figure out where all the men's trousers went. And they grabbed them all up because they didn't know what size they were. Back when they were living there, everything was homemade, and they didn't know anything about sizes. Now, the modern ones, the ones that died not so long ago, they knew what size they were, but you don't stay the same size when you date. gonna be this size when I'm dead. I'm coming back as a size 0. And I'm gonna run. I'm going to New York Fashion Week, and I'm gonna be a model when I'm going. I'm gonna walk that runway. Yes, sir, I am. You won't recognize me, but I'm gonna be there. I might be there. No, I can't be there right now. I'm still alive. Ain't I? Yeah, I'm alive. I just pulling John's leg. I scratched that. We better edit that out. Anyway, back to the other ghosts. There weren't as many came back as had left. Some of them just didn't like my attitude. Now, can you imagine them not liking my attitude when I said they were disrespectful? Well, if they can't take a little criticism, what's that word? Criticism, that's what it is. If they can't take a little criticism, then they don't need to come back. There's too damn many of them anyway. And their kids are babies. I don't want them kids in here. Does my house look kid friendly? I haven't had a baby. I never had a baby in my life. I don't know what to do with a dead baby, let alone a living one. So they took the babies and their kids, and those ones didn't come back. So there wasn't that many in here. And I at least had breathing room. They don't need breathing room, that's for sure. They quit breathing a long time ago, most of them. But I noticed they started looking all around, and I'm like, I think that's kind of disrespectful too. You don't go into somebody's house and start looking in their cupboards and pulling things out and asking questions. What's this thing? The women were out in the kitchen trying to figure out the stove, turning the knobs on and off, looking in the oven, and they said, where do you put the wood? I said, you don't put wood in ovens anymore. My oven's gas. And I said, gas? I said, yes. The gas comes up out of the ground. I said, gas? I said, yeah. Why don't you all take a trip to the library and look, do some research on modern history and modern appliances. Well, a few of them did leave, and they're still at the library, I guess, because I haven't seen those ones since. And then there's another one opens up the microwave. She says, what's this? An icebox? I said, no. We don't have ice boxes anymore. That's a microwave. She said, what? I said, a microwave. She says, what the hell is a microwave? I said, I'll show you. So I had some leftovers in the fridge. Oh my Lord, you should have seen their faces when I opened the fridge. What's this big metal box with the handles on it? I said, it's a refrigerator. You're driving me nuts. Again, I said, go to the library and search on modern appliances. Well, the men did, because some of the men had tried to be inventors back in the day, but they didn't have a clue. They didn't know how to invent a refrigerator, but they went to the library to figure out how they work. Well, first of all, they know nothing about electricity. So how the hell are they going to invent anything that runs on electric? So I guess that's why they're still at the library. They probably are like, what's electric? Well, go to the other side. And they said, no, we're not going. I said, why don't you want to go to the other side? We're scared. I said, well, if you were a good person in life, you don't need to be scared. And they kind of got this look on their face, this ghastly look. Well, I wasn't exactly a nice person in life, and I'm a little afraid to go into the light. And first of all, I don't see a light. All I see is darkness, and I'm afraid of the dark. I said, well, if I hadn't lived a very good life, I'd be afraid of the dark, too. So they're just wandering around, and they'll probably be wandering around to the end of time, not knowing what to do. And I said, well, what do you do? They said, well, we just kind of wander around in the cemetery. We sleep a lot. We get bored. Nobody comes to visit us anymore. There's nobody alive that even remembers us. Oh, that's sad. If I knew where you were, I'd come visit you, but I don't know where you buried at. And they said, do you know that crybaby cemetery? I said, oh my Lord, don't tell me you're there, because I don't think I'm coming to visit. I just don't, no. That is a local legend, that you can hear a baby cry there at night, and I ain't going there. Because they're probably crying during the day, too. Babies don't know day from night, and they're probably crying 24 hours a day. Because they probably don't have their eyes open to see the light, and they don't know where to go. So they just lay in their little coffins and cry. I don't know. They can't get out and walk around. They're not able to walk. They're too young to walk, and I ain't going to the cemetery to teach those dead babies how to walk or how to grow up. So they're just kind of stagnated there crying. I told you, I'm not a baby person. I like them, and they're cute when they're quiet, when they're happy. How often is that? Even when their belly's full, even when their butts are dry, they can find reasons to cry. I don't know what's up with babies. They want attention all the time. I can't be paying attention to babies all the damn time. I'd rather have a dog. Yeah, dogs like your attention too, but not all the time, and they don't cry. They just bark, and you can give them a treat, and they'll shut their damn mouth. But a baby, you feed it, it'll still go, wah, wah, wah. And they got those little tongues inside their mouth. They can't stick their tongues out. They can't. If you ever noticed a baby, it has a little round tongue that just fits on the inside of their lip. And when they cry, it's like, I don't know. I know I was a baby once, and my mother had to put up with my squalor, but she loved me, and I do love babies. And if I had one, I'd probably love it so much that, I don't know. I never done that. Anyway, back to the spirits. Some of them left, and I thought, they're out in the yard. And I went to the door and they're out in my shed. And anybody that knows anything about my shed is a mess. It's a big shed. It's not a little shed. It's the biggest shed I could find because I had a lot of stuff when I moved here. And I had nobody to help me sort it out, so it just all got boxed up. The mover said, you will never get to what we put in there first unless you cut a door out on the other end of your shed. That's how full it is. Well, they're out there and they're pulling stuff out and throwing it out in the yard. And I'm like, what are you doing? They said, we're looking for a shovel. I said, what do you want with a shovel? Well, we're going to dig some graves so we have places to sleep tonight. Oh, no, you're not. You're not moving in here. Besides, I rent this lot, and for every person that lives here, I gotta pay $10 a month extra. Now, unless you people got a job, or you took your money with you when you died, and I don't think there was a U-Haul behind your coffin, then you're not moving in here. The only one moving in here is John. Because he's so cute. And I gotta admit, John's a good lover. He done lit my fire. And I didn't even know I had an ember in there, but he got that thing lit. And that fire is burning hot, let me tell you. Oh my. He set the whole house on fire. And he's got, you see me out somewhere, you will never see me without a smile. Never, never, never again, unless John decides to leave. But John seems pretty contented. And he's pretty happy being here. I'm telling you. Well, to make a long story short, sooner or later, they all decided they had to go back to their graves because I wasn't letting them move in here. So they put the shovel back, they filled in the holes they were starting to dig. I said, you can't go and leave these holes in here. And I'm not able to shovel. Excuse me, I gotta get situated. My bones are, well, I've been a little sore. I'm sorry, I should have said that. I've been working too hard. Yeah, that's it. I've been doing too much housework and cooking for John. John's easy to cook for. Wait, I made pizza the other night. He says, what's pizza? He said, I never saw anything round like that except the pie. I said, well, they used to call it pizza pie, but they dropped the pie, and now it's just pizza. He dove into that like he hadn't eaten in decades and in centuries. Which he hadn't. And I didn't think he would eat, but he says he missed that pleasure of eating. That was the second thing he missed. The pleasure of eating. I'm not telling you what the first thing was he missed because I've already told you about that. Okay? You got me? Alright. Well, eventually, they all left. And some of them I think are still at the library, but I don't know if they go home at night and go back to their graves and sleep or what they do, and I really don't care. I don't give a crap about the ones that were here except for John. Now John, yeah, he made this old woman a happy woman, and I've had more pleasure in the last couple weeks than I've had in my whole life put together. Don't think because you're old you're dead. But the dead can come alive, and they can make you even more alive than you are right now. Let me tell you. Well, I don't think the ghosts will be back, because I think John's just a little bit jealous. Because he knows when he's got a good thing. He's got a good thing going. And when he leaves, I never ask him where he goes. I never ask him when he's coming back. But I know he'll be back. And I know it won't be long. Because he can't go without for very long, if you get my drift. I don't know if you can see that or not with my glasses on. My eye doesn't look good, does it? Can you see they're blue? The pupils of my eyes are so big that you can't see the blue. Unless I'm out in the sun and the pupils get little, you can't see my eyes are blue. They look like I just have pupils and no iris. Oh well, we're not talking about eyes, are we? Well, why not? We can talk about anything we want. I was to the doctor today. Got an x-ray on my side. My side's been sore ever since John moved in. I have not one, but I have 2 fractured ribs. So you know, this place has been a rockin', and there's nothing they can do about it, and I don't mind a little bit of pain and a little bit of burning in my side, and it's not bad. But when John's around, I don't feel no pain. I don't feel anything but delight. Delight comes on when John's around. John's around. John's around. Oh, the light comes on when John's around. He lights up my life. You know, I don't even know John's real name. Give a shit. I love y'all. Have a good day. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.